again, it was a tough game last week, and thought we played hard and fortunate to get the win. Did a lot of good things. Had some struggles against a good defense. I thought our defense played really hard. 0 turnovers, protected the quarterback well. Did a lot of good things, a lot of things to work on. Really tough challenge this week. North Texas, extremely good offense. Veteran quarterback. It's been around for quite a while. Coach's kid is playing very, very well offensively. The coaches kind of know what they're doing. Get the ball out in the perimeter, the RPOs, the triple option type plays out of shotgun, throwing the ball downfield. A couple strong running backs. I think they've had a couple running back injuries, but their running backs are 225, big guys running hard. I always have known Coach Morris is known as another Mike Leach protege, was a great player at Texas Tech, and is off to a great start in his career. And he's known as one of those air raid guys, but they've kind of evolved, like a lot of guys, to more run and RPO. But they run their offense well. And again, defensively, different than last week, but similar. A 3-man front with the drop 8 stuff, and just watching how they played last year throughout the year, and this year they do a great job of, getting the run defenses called when they need to, the pass defenses called, etc. Playing down there, conference opener, night game. Had a good crowd, I thought. A lot of our parents and some fans were at La Tech, so that was a good deal. We appreciate that. Looking forward with so many Dallas alums and families that recruit in Dallas. We'll have a decent following for us this week as we head down to Denton to what I think will be a very tough matchup, and looking forward to the challenge.
Hey guys, questions?
Here you go, Larry. Oh, okay. Yeah, Coach, talk about some of the young players. Obviously, you had one of your young freshmen. We talked about the wide receiver, Corey Smith, big touchdown. Talk about how the young guys, Elijah Green. Talk about how he did. Talk about how some of the young freshmen did.
Yeah, a lot of those guys continue to play. Some are playing a little bit more than others. At the same time, I think because we're playing some guys and the freshmen are playing well. Like, for example, I believe Elijah had 61 snaps. Did not play in the first couple games. Played a fair amount against Oklahoma State, about 25, 23 snaps, I think it was. Played 61 in this game, so got a lot of work. But with that, you see Tyree Carlisle maybe played his best game. Had a couple key tackles, a great fourth down stop, a great stop before the half out there, one-on-one and open field tackle. So I think as the young guys are playing, I think it's heightened the urgency of our older guys, that they're not just, you need to play well and you need to practice well. And I think it's a good vibe with our football team right now. Buda Garrett had a lot of tackles, calls fumble early in the game. He's coming in there helping at safety with Dane Hodge and Zach Williams there with Malachi Jones. So you've got some seniors and some freshmen. I think they're complementing each other very well. Receiver-wise, Zion Steptoe's playing outside with Corey Smith behind him. Corey was in on the one play that we just had a big set and thought we could get a one-on-one matchup, and took a shot down the field, and he ran a good route. Kirk delivered a really good ball, and that was a big play. We had I think the run that Anthony had was the longest run that La Tech has given up all year. And I believe that pass play was one of their bigger plays. They play a style that's hard. Everybody's, we had, for some reason, out of the blue, a lot of unusual penalties. And we got to some 3rd and 15 and 20s. Well, the way they do that, sometimes you got to check it down. And because what we didn't want to do, we're playing good enough defenses, we didn't want to force it and make turnovers. So sometimes it's 3rd and 20 and you're throwing a check down pass or a swing route, because really that's all they're giving you. And you get what you can. Maybe you get the first down. If not, you're tacking some yardage to the punt. Our kick coverages need to be better. We give up some plays in punt return, give up a couple in kick return. That needs to be better. But those young guys are playing well. Brody Duffel came in. Unfortunately, the one sack we had was against him early in the game, but he needs to keep playing and learn how to battle through that. So the young receivers, Lloyd and Byron, are playing at tailback. So a lot of those young guys, I don't know the exact number. I know against Oklahoma State we played 22 true freshmen. I'm not sure what that number was last week, but I'm sure it was in the high teens, 15, 16, 17, 18. I don't know the exact number. I saw Jackson Lee out there. Will Smith didn't play last week, had a mild injury. He was practicing last night. He'll be back out. So a lot of those young guys are playing. They're doing well, and I think it's energized the old guys, and we've got good balance. And like I say, that was a tough win. That was a good team win. A lot of old guys made a lot of plays, and those young guys are helping out.
And talk about the composure of when you get down, being able to drive it down, tie the game, and then obviously the great outcome in overtime.
Yeah, and we didn't particularly, in my mind, manage the first situation. We were struggling because, again, that was a solid defense. It was really hard to establish some long drives and some penalties and some poor, either whether it be run game plan or run game execution. We were getting behind schedule. So we got the ball, I think, around the 3:20 mark, give or take. My thought was we need to go 2 minutes right then, because I thought we might need to do it twice, because I didn't know if we didn't get the first down, we had 3 timeouts, and we had the 2-minute warning. So we had plenty of time if we bogged down to get 2 swings at it. And we ran 2 perimeter plays where we could have gotten out of bounds and stopped the clock for a little bit. Now it will rewind when the ball is put back in play. But we didn't manage that properly, and I don't know if we got that communicated. So what I wanted to maybe have 2 opportunities ended up being 1. Fortunately, the 1 took it down long enough. We were fortunate to get a holding penalty with a great effort by Vontroy Malone. They caused a holding penalty, which is equivalent to sack, which took away a big play. Could have got those guys in field goal range. Their field goal kicker a week ago had made a 57-yarder. So, we were managing that thing at the end, hanging on. But for Seth to come out, the play before, we had a jailbreak screen called into man coverage, and I thought it was going to score, and we just missed a block out in space. If we catch it, I think Cam's got a chance to maybe even score a touchdown on that play. So, but it was good. It was nice for Seth to come out and make the kick. I thought the first play in overtime defensively was actually the best play, because we stuffed him on a run play, got him second long, then it got him into a passing situation with Zach and the calls fumble. As soon as they started reviewing it, everybody's cheering us to get the offense over here. We got to get ready to play, because we haven't lost the game yet, but we need to make sure we can go win it. And then when Billy popped the 1 run, thought maybe we could get another run. When that didn't work, we just centered it up, put it in the middle, and tried to get out with victory. So it's nice for Seth to make those kicks. He had missed a couple earlier. Last week in practice, actually missed a couple. We started like, hey, just make the kick. Didn't say anything to him during the game. Those are 2 huge kicks. That 45-yarder was not easy. The protection was solid. The timing was pretty good. It was close. They almost blocked that sucker, too. Now they're coming all out. So game of inches, and we're fortunate to win. But nice to have a solid drive at the end. I think the check down to Bill Jackson on 3rd and 7, where they played Tampa coverage and dropped out. We threw it to Billy over the ball. He got about 12, 13 yards, got us down into that scoring range. So there's a few plays that last drive. I think we threw a bender route to Luke McGarry on the 4 vertical thing. I think got a bender shot that was about 15, 20-yard play. So that was a really good drive to get us going there. So that was it was nice. We had control of the game, playing really good defense, not turning the ball over, but we had difficulty getting drives and increasing the lead, and we let them hang around. We got into a dogfight, and it was nice we were mature enough to win. And we talked about how at Arkansas State we didn't do that. We go into this game on the road with no turnovers. We win the sack ratio 5-1. There was a lot of good things. We stopped their run. That was a really good team win for our guys. Thank you. Let me get a shot of water there.
Oh,
thank you, Jared. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
is your approach any different when conference play starts? I mean, do you coach them any different? Do you do anything differently because it's conference play?
No,
do you talk to them any differently?
I mean, our practice, our format, our prepping, our planning is the same. All you talk about is now, we are playing for the opportunity to be in the conference championship game, and now it is a conference game. So everything that you're playing for throughout the year is kind of now full throttle, meaning, okay, here's the opportunity to position yourselves. You look right now, we're playing this week and next week 2 of the top 3-4 teams in the league by 1 loss ratio. Now, again, a lot of teams in our conference have played some tough non-conference schedules, so sometimes those schedules can be skewed, and you can be a 2-2 or a 1-3 team, but it may be very, very good, but you've played good competition. So, but we're playing a really good team this week. So all you talk about is, against our goal is to fight as much as we can. First of all, to be a bold team. Second of all, to position ourselves in the conference race to have a chance to be in the championship game, and that starts this week. So we talked about it. We do show the conference teams, and I only show the conference teams that we're playing. Like, here's the conference. Here's, our team's got 14. Hey, here are the 8 guys we're playing. And we quickly yesterday, hey, here's their records. You can see some teams are off to good starts and some teams are doing okay like we are. And we're all in the conference play now, and we see where it goes.
How's Kawan Parker? Because he came off.
He had an ankle injury, just tweaked, but they tried to go back out on it and just twisted an ankle. I don't think it's that bad. I just saw him go in the facility walking. Looks okay, but hopefully he'll be able to practice and go. I don't think it's a major deal. Just kind of rolled his ankle. Continue to come out of games so healthy. A lot of guys practice and playing, and good vibe with the team, really good work yesterday. Had that was a late trip coming in. It was a hot trip, a lot of energy expelled. So yesterday came back in, kind of negotiated the rain a little bit with a really good light run and some introductory stuff, walked through and some lifting and video. So yesterday was a good recovery day. And I thought coming off the long travel, we got back about 2 in the morning. And again, two trips like that, very, very similar trips. Similar trip this week, except it'll be kind of bus because it's a 3-hour and 45-minute bus ride here to Denton, so playing at 6 o'clock. So this will be our third time traveling. Won't get on a plane this time, but about the same kind of format of a Friday and Saturday, and playing a 6 o'clock kick down in Denton.
Asked you after the game on Saturday the physical aspect of your team, especially defensively, and you felt like the last 2 weeks or last 2 games that they've been really, really physical. Anything change your opinion when you went back and watched that? Did it kind of cement that?
Well, I thought it's one thing to be physical, and we can be more physical, I would hope and believe that we can, and not hope, but count that we continue to build on that, because I think you build your physicality throughout the year, because in our game, that hitting is kind of weathered, your body kind of gets calloused over time, and you got to stay healthy. And we got to be smart in how we practice, and you want to practice hard but not over practicing. You want to stay healthy, but you don't want to do walkthroughs, not be able to take hits and deliver hits. So I think we've had a good balance of that, and I thought we played faster and more physical. That's, to me, when I saw the tape, a few times I felt like you could start to feel our defensive front. You could feel them coming off the ball. I think to get our offensive line kind of going that way, you can kind of feel the surge of the line of scrimmage. So, it was that was a very good outing, and I think Coach Burton does a great job with those guys. And it's not one guy. Miles gets a little bit of notoriety, and Owen and Bontroy because they're the ends. But Emilia Williams had a big sack and played well inside with some pressure. R.J. Jackson, his best game to date, a sack and a half, very active, 5 tackles, his best game. First game, Joe Yelly really popped with 5 tackles, inside D lineman. Ty Newhouse has been the best guy inside. We can kind of go too deep, and typically a lot of times in our league, you're known as like how good are your big people and how deep are your big people. We can go to about 5 inside guys and 5 D ends, about 10 deep in the D line, and those coaches are playing a lot of guys and they're playing hard. And I think they're getting a better understanding of what Coach Polizzi does. I think Chris and his staff's doing a good job of just putting them in good positions to play hard. And we stopped the run and we got after the quarterback the other night, and then because of that, all of a sudden the pass coverage was better. It was a little bit of both, and they coming into that game. The week before, the one outside receiver, Wilkerson, 47, averaging 24 yards a catch. The other man, I'm blanking on his last name, his dad was a great player, 16, was averaging 37 yards. He was averaging 37 yards a catch, and those guys really are tied in and up making the plays for those guys. So, we can be better in that regard, but we did bust a couple minor things in coverages. We got to keep cleaning that up. But the way the game's played in space, I was telling the defense yesterday, you can't get down yourself when the ball gets in space and we don't make a play, get a guy down. You have great coverage, a guy make a shot. To me, I didn't like some of the plays where maybe we busted coverages in week past. Like if the game is played now with very good players in space, that if a guy makes a play on you, makes a play. What you don't want is when people can just shove it down your throat and play a good run, have a good run game with the ball in space. So I thought our ability to stop the run and do a decent job of rushing the quarterback really was huge in that game last week. And it'll be a different challenge this week. I think a very, very strong, much better offensive line for sure. And an attack, it's different. So we'll have our hands full this week, the way they get the ball in the perimeter and down the field. And they have a good running attack at North Texas. So it's going to be a strong task for our defense.
Spencer?
You touched on it a little bit, but a few weeks ago at Arkansas State, you guys have the big lead and kind of give it up. This time you guys have another lead, they come back, but you guys find a way to kind of close it out and respond this time. Do you think that says anything about the growth of like this young team and like the maturity that they've seen through the 4 weeks?
Yeah, and I wouldn't say I don't know if we're mature. I'm still trying to figure out sometimes if I'm mature, so I don't know if we're mature. I like the word though, but I think we're growing. I think we're growing. I think we talked about that when we played that game 2 weeks ago. All I told him, I said, we're going to be in this same game 2 weeks from now. and we're going to be in the same game at weeks to come. These are a lot of games that we play in our conference where it's difficult to win. And I thought 2 weeks ago we gave it away. Last week, same day, our offense didn't play well against a much better, a really good defense. I think against Arkansas State a couple weeks ago, I thought our offensive line got its butt beat a little bit. And this past week it was a struggle. And whether we got above, we were playing, I thought, a very solid, salty, good defense, and that kept us in a closer game, even though the defense really had good control of that game. But we didn't turn the football over. Where at Arkansas State we did. We did have an issue in kick coverage again, which we did there. It resulted in a touchdown up there. I think it resulted in field position, which led to a touchdown this game. So we got to keep tightening up our kick coverage. But all we talked about was, as disappointing as it might be, I'm not going to dwell on it, but we need to learn from it. And I think we did, because I didn't think there was any composure. And again, I thought our defense was playing really good, and they felt good. And even when they scored, I think the defense, they had to earn that score. They had to go, push that sneak in there. We didn't give them anything. We made them earn it. They made a couple pass plays, but I think there was a good vibe on the defense. I think the offense felt that, even though it was struggling. And like I say, Kirk played well. He was, 24-36. Didn't make a lot of huge plays. The nature of what they did a good job checking it down. He could be a little tighter, better, but he was one of the better players on offense, and thought he graded out very, very well. But it was good to see that. To see Seth make those kicks was huge, because we've missed before. And so there was, like you say, there's growth. I still think we're young. I don't know if we're mature yet, but we're growing, and we need to keep growing. That's the gist of our job as coaches, and our football team is constant, consistent. Let's keep growing. We're not going to be perfect. Let's keep getting better. I think we're getting better. I thought we were better at Okie State, except we just got run by and gave us some cheap plays, and maybe that game the score got out of hand. But I thought we played hard. We played tough, and we can't help these guys out in coverage. Last week we helped them out in coverage, and the defensive front had a huge impact in the game. And I think we continue to grow. We'll have to grow this week, because this will be comparable to the offense we played a couple weeks ago. This is a really good offense that we're playing this week. We got our hands full.
Are you a coach that believes in momentum and confidence, having to win going into conference play? Do you think that gives anything to your team, a little extra juice going in this week? Yeah,
I believe in momentum. I mean, for sure. And whether it be conference or not, I just think if you don't have it, you got to find it. If you got it, you want to keep it. You don't want to take it for granted. Now, I'm not like, and I have my routines, but I'm not superstitious. So, for example, last week, there's Bruce sees this slide. There's a routine we do on Friday. But we didn't do it last week. It was so hot, we went inside. I was like, why am I walking here and it's 99 degrees? We're getting ready to get on a plane, and we're just going to be drenched, standing around having a walk through and a little fun time. So we changed that up. I changed up something I do Friday night. I told the coaches, like, hey, I go by and check the guys in the rooms real quick, but so fast, why don't you guys check them in tonight and give them a little nugget, give them something to think about, just so, I believe in momentum. I don't believe in superstition, but I do believe in routine. And I think we've got a good routine. I think we've got some decent momentum. We are getting ready to play a challenging test. So to me, the momentum means hopefully, there was a good vibe with the team coming, and great team vibe in the locker room. There's a great vibe on the trip coming back with the victory. There's a great vibe. Hopefully it'll lead to just more positive work this week, and we continue to enhance, because the process of getting better is going to help you with the results we all talk about and won't. But it's not about the result, it's the process. And when you got momentum, the process is easier to push and to get the work you want done. So hopefully we can keep it going. We did talk, when you're talking about routine, we did talk a week ago that we're in a 3-week run to an open date. And we had to go on the road twice, and we've got a very good team coming in for that and their open date. So we did talk about a pocket of, we got a 3-week run right now. I had a 3-week run leading up to Okie State, a 3-week run going on the road this week for 2 in a row, and then coming back for only, then it's a break. And you can catch your breath, reflect, self-scout, evolve, continue to go. So we're in the middle of this 3-week run to me, and this is chapter 2 of that run.
Sorry if this one's a little off the wall, but one of your former players, Josh Proctor, just got announced that he's going to be a defensive analyst or defensive coach for Owasso.
I saw that, yeah.
Wondering if you had any interactions with him and how you think he will do in the coaching realm for the Rams.
I'm sure he's happy to be back home. I mean, he was a tremendous player. He grew a lot at Ohio State. He was a little, I think, immature when he came in. and just grew as a man. I thought he's finished his career outstanding, being from Oklahoma and knowing where he's from. Matter of fact, when it came out, I remember calling Coach Blankenship, when I think it was Coach Schiano at the time was coming down recruiting him. I said, I think I know the coaches down there. And, and of course, Greg recruited Josh to come up there. He was a physical guy. He could fly around with no fear he was like a heat-seeking missile back there. I always gave him some flack if he was worth a flip. He went to OU. If he's from OWASA, just having fun with him. But I could relate to where I was one of the few guys. I spent a fair amount of his coaches spent more time, but I personally enjoyed him because of my knowledge of where he was from, what he was about, being up there. I didn't try to be his buddy, but I'd always give him a little Oklahoma flack, and we'd have some fun. I got a lot of respect for him. I saw he was here. Haven't talked to him since he's been back up there, but we need to run him down and hook up and get together with him for sure.
You were one of 7 second-year coaches in the American Conference. Does having that many coaches in the same space as you are, does that have any impact on how you build a program? Does it have any impact in anything at all? And just in
there's a lot of coaching changes in general in this day and age, because after a few years, if not, either guys move on or changes are made. I think every school is going to be a little bit different in how you build your program. And so, for example, our style here is a lot through the high school recruiting. We didn't promise any of these guys are going to play. We didn't promise these guys money coming in. We promised what we think we're going to have with our case fund and the other resources we have. But we've not. Probably you have to earn a lot of stuff here. But I just think the way some of the recruiting has been, I look at some of our transfers and wish those guys well, but look at how many snaps they're playing. And I'm wondering if they're happy they left. I'm looking at because you can pull up on PFF and you can see how many snaps guys have played. And because you want guys to have great experiences. And our thing in building this thing was, let's get our culture right. A year ago, I spent more of my time just on trying to get the culture. And then from that, try to recruit the right guys. Now it's getting a little bit more into the overall program. And so everybody's different. We try to build ours through in-house, change the vibe, go to class. Let's be great kids, working hard. Let's get a little tougher. Let's get stronger. We've done that. We try to do it through recruiting with great high school guys and recruiting our region. And then, for example, we're going to Dallas this year. We signed, 14 kids out of Texas last year, 15, something like that, 12 out of the Metroplex. We've got a lot of kids out of the Metroplex on our team. There's a lot of families I saw at La Tech, and almost all of them, when I saw them after the game, I said, well, it'll be a short drive for you next week because we're right in your backyard. So, we're building this thing through the development piece, through recruiting. We're complementing it with transfer portal. That's a part of it. And we'll talk to our kids about the transfer portal and making sure if guys want to make decisions, they're making decisions for wise reasons. I'm looking at kids that left 2 years ago and how many snaps you're playing this year, and you left 2 years ago. I see a couple guys are having a lot of success. A lot of guys are just going to be someone's rotating guy. To me, I hope here some of our upper players feel they can impact our program, impact this league. And then time, if you leave, you're leaving like the guys at the big schools when you go to the NFL. You're leaving for a big contract. You're not leaving here for $50,000. You're not giving up on a TU education. If you are, you can, but $50,000 versus our degree versus where you're going, you better think twice. There's long-term effect. So we're building this program through recruiting, through development, and the other guys, I think every place is different. Some guys got more resources, different ways of doing it. Some guys will recruit all portals. Some guys will recruit all JC or a lot of JCs. Everybody's different. But you do say in this day and age, you do need to have some success and some stability, because if not, there's just a lot of coaching turnover, and that's kind of part of what way our game. Players are leaving and coaches are leaving. It's just part of it now.
And I guess in this particular position, the challenges are different in building a program than they are at some of the other places in the. What do you see as the differences in building a program here as opposed to some of the other places in the American?
Well, I don't know all those places. I just know here. For example, no disrespect, but I said to the team the other night, because we do a little question and answer Friday night before the game, get to know your opponent like it's something that they did at Ohio State. It was an old, I think, Woody Hayes deal where you went to a game, and a part of when they used to travel, when teachers get mad, they would have to do a research paper on where they went. So Coach Meyer and Coach Day took it into, I think maybe some other coaches. I bet you Coach Truss would, I don't know this, but you would ask, you did a little research paper we just do some research questions. So you're going to Louisiana, we're playing a lot of Tech. What town's it located? What's their mascot? What's their school colors? What states border the state of Louisiana? Just ask them questions about it. So, we make a big deal about how small the school is. And we think it's a problem. Well, in my world, there's 11 players on each team. A lot of Texas states going to big school. When I Googled up their facts, I saw their endowment was $117 million, ours $1.3 billion, 1.36. So there's resources here. We got shortcomings. Everybody does. Everybody's got problems. Everybody's got issues. But what we got is a great city, a great school. This place attracts great people. This is a people game. And if you can get people and develop people and get people to buy in, this place has always been successful because that's why. And somebody goes back decades and decades ago, but there's been champion players, teams, great players, great coaches that come through this place. We got a great staff here now. We're attracting some great players, and we got issues. Our recruiting budgets where I'm not flying everywhere, and I check hotel receipts to make sure they're staying at the hotels because here's my recruiting budget. They give me a budget. I'm gonna fight like heck to stay in that budget, and it's hard to stay in that budget. But I'm gonna go find players, and I'm gonna, we got to reinvest in our players. That doesn't mean we have like the biggest training table. But if even myself, if I'm going out buying snacks to make sure our guys are eating well, I'm going to take care of our players. So, every school has different issues. The things that we don't have to overcome, most people won't. Great place, great people, great city, great school, great education, a place that's had success. A lot of people don't have that. So as you build, this is a hard job to build. It takes a little bit of time, and we don't have the resources we're going to go out and buy. For example, you just use like this. If somebody said you have $500,000 in NIL, and somebody said you have $5 million in NIL. If I give somebody $10,000 at $500,000, that's $100,000 with $5 million. So who can you get with 100 or 10? So when you're going around and you're negotiating these quote unquote, as I heard Coach Gunny say, he wasn't very high on the price list to get guys. I mean, we all have budgets that we're working under. So we don't have the resources right now that in the NIL world, you're going to go out and say, hey, I can get you for this. But what we do need to do is make sure that our good players here stay here and don't get poached to be backups and average guys, that they help us build this program. We keep our quality players happy. And you saw what happened last year in basketball. We lose a guy in both men's and women's basketball. And those are maybe the two best players in our conference. And they're here. We want them to stay here. And we want to do everything we can as we build to bring in the right people, which this place has always done. And now we're in a world that once we get them here, let's develop them, and let's see if we can do our best to hang on to them. And that's going to be hard to do sometimes, but let's do the best we can. If people leave, you don't get mad about that. You just keep moving forward the best you can. But that's how we're building it, through development, recruiting, trying to retain great staff. And when we get people here, just invest all we can in them with the resources we have to make their experience as good as we can. That's why our academics are all-time high. Our graduation rates are getting ready to be at all-time high. Our APR is going to be the highest it's ever been. Recruiting's the best it's been. We've got to do it again this year, and hopefully it's going to translate into wins, which is over. Like I told the guys the other night, everyone's on this trip for a reason, and we brought you here to win. And we're putting a lot of money in this program, and it's not just to have a good experience. It is to win. And everyone, we picked you to come here because you thought you could help us win. We thought you fit the school. You thought you'd be successful. We thought you would get a degree. Yes. We really thought you would help us win. And that's what we want to try to do as we keep moving forward. And it's going to be a tough challenge this week as we play North Texas. Guys good?
Thank you, Coach.
See y'all. Peace out.